Afternoon, everybody. Goodness me, it doesn't seem 2 minutes since we were last here. I'm just going to plug it in to make sure it's got some power. There we go. So, here we are, tile number 97. We're well on the way, aren't we, to getting to 100. It's going to be good. So I'm hoping today that, I thought I'd bring a little bit of colour into our lives, being that it's a bit dark and grey and dismal. But we're not going to talk about that because it doesn't matter. Okay, what have we got today then? Oh, okay, I'm going to work with the green tiles. And I'm also going to work with just a regular pencil. Oh, off it went. A tortillon. It's going to be one of those, is it? I've got my micron, my black pen. I've also got a white pencil just in case. And I've got some coloured pencils with me. I was thinking of, maybe adding just a touch of colour. But again, as always, let's just see how we go. So, hi there, everybody. Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me. It's become a bit of a challenge now, and it really does mean a lot to me. So, I really appreciate you coming along for the ride. Okay. Oh, I do have a straight edge as well. I've got my little ruler. So, first of all then, deep breath. That's what we start with. Let's not get all carried away and excited. Let's just all chill out a little bit and take it easy. All right, okay, we had a deep breath. Here we go then. I'm going to start with my straight edge and my pencil. And I'm going to work to one side. Now, in order to, and I don't know if you've done this before, and I'm sure I've told you, if you're wanting a straight line and you're not wanting it slightly at an angle, if you actually line the edge of your ruler or your tile or whatever you're working to, just to the edge of the tile there, and then you can go on and put your line in. And then you know it's going to be straight. We don't need to worry about the size here, but you know it's going to be straight. Okay, so I'm going to bring another one in. Now this is about just a little bit wider than my pencil. Hello there. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it, when we can all get together again. I know it's Christmas, it's that sort of lull in between Christmas and New Year, but we're all good for it. Okay, only 16 behind. Where have you been? All right, so you can see here I've got two. They're very similar in size. I've got a bit of a gap, and then I've got two channels, so to speak. So I'm going to stick with my pencil just for a moment, and I'm just going to add in a little dot on the middle line, leave a space, and another one, space, another one, space, another one. I might just get one in the bottom there. Okay, it's quite a gap there, isn't it? It's about maybe 2 pencils-ish, but it doesn't really matter. It's whatever you want to do with it. So, okay, I'm going to come in now with my pen. I'm just going to tilt it to one side and make it a little bit larger. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little line either side, you see? And the idea is, if I turn it the other way now, I can do the same again. Okay, so I've got a bit of a diamond kind of shape there, and I'm just going to fill that in. There we go. It's quite nice on the green, isn't it? It's nice to work on a colour. It's not the cream are nice, but it's always nice to work on a colour too. You notice with the dots, I've sort of left it in the middle. So it's just a guide, and of course you're not going to see it once we've done all this pattern. Okay. Well, of course, I've been prepping for the other tiles because I didn't want to leave it to chance, and I've just got one to sort now. But certainly got tile 100 in the bag and planned. There we are. Okay, so I've got, it's like little row buttons, isn't it? Oh, brilliant, Julie. Do you know what? Whether it's your first go or you've done loads, every single one's different, and we start from scratch. So I'm not doing anything that is tricky for a beginner. It's all about just going with it And as you know, it's not going to be the same. 99 behind. None of them are going to be the same. Everybody's is different. So just go with the flow and just see what happens. Remember, the important thing is about you just being in the moment. You and the tile and the bit of paper. And just chilling out with it. And whatever comes from it is worth doing, isn't it? And that's the end process. So now I'm just doing a little aura around the outside of these little diamond shapes. There we go. And just working from one to the other. I'm sort of reinforcing the line as well. I'm really going for the black today. There we are. Oh, Barbara, you're going for it. Do you know, sometimes it's great to do that, but if you want to just, work along doing a quick sketch, just so you get the hang of it, and then do one, it's entirely up to you. But it is nice when you follow along, because of course we're doing these in real time, so that's great to do. Okay. All right, so just doing my last little aura around there. Okay, let's have a look at where we're at. All right. Okay, I think what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to draw this line in with pen. So I'm just going to line it back up again. And let's just put that line in because we don't need that to be in pencil anymore. Okay. So next bit then, again, I'm going to come back in with this sort of straight edge. And let's start with this one. Can't chat and tangle at the same time. I have to. All right, so I'm going to see when I've got this sort of angle here. I'm going to line my ruler up with that angle, you see? And then I'm going to take it both ways, but only to the edge and the edge. See, I know it's gone a bit over there, but that's okay, but to each edge. And then if I line it up with that next one, and then again, I'm going to take it to each edge. Okay, so we've got that. Yeah, oh, Catherine, go with whatever colour you want. It's entirely up to you. Doesn't matter in the slightest. Okay, so far, so good. All right, so let's just take it out a little bit. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my border in. Okay, I know we don't always do this sort of in mid-flow, but I'm going to go straight in with pen and I'm going to create a border. Turn it round. Now this time, and again you see I'm just lining up there, I'm going to take it underneath that original pencil line. See, I've not drawn it there. Santa's belt. Yeah. Do you think he'd have loosened it though, this close to Christmas? Maybe he's on elasticated for now. Or Velcro, yeah. Okay, same there, look. And, okay. So we've got a bit of a guide now, we know where we're going. And the reason I sort of just did that is because I'm going to come into that second one now and line it up again. Remember that angle that I drew there? But this time, I'm going to take it off that guideline and straight up to the border on that side, but not on that side, you see? So of course, bring it back and then do the same again. So all the way up and then to that one there. Okay? So then the next one, again, I'm lining it up with the angle that I drew and I'm just going to the little border of that pencil line there. And the same on this one. Okay? And then same again. So here we go. Just following that angle. And now I'm just working within that little strip that we've got going on there. Oh, thanks, Jude. Yeah, John made it. There we are. end to that one. Okay, let's have a look then. Yeah, we need to do Tile 100 live. We need to. It's the rules, I think. We've all got to have a go. Okay, so let's have a look at the next way round now. I'm going to just turn it slightly because obviously we want to be working now with this angle here. Let's have a look. This is the top. Remember, see where I've got these extra lines. So I'm going to line my ruler up this time. Again, with that angle of that little square that I did, and I'm going to bring it out here, and then I'm going to take it all the way underneath that one that I drew, and all the way to the other end of the border. Okay? And on the other side, there we go, I'm going to do the same again. So it's going underneath. Alright, so next one, I'm going to just take it within that little border there. See that? I'm just going to go into there. I'm just going to put that corner in. Okay, I'm just going to join that. And then the next one, so working the same again. So I'm always going to the same edge here, and then this time I'm going to take it out to the border and again, so just up to there and out to the border, all the way out. Okay, and then this one I'm just going to take it to within the confines of that little guideline there, and the same on that one. And again here, I'm just going to, again, just take it to within the confines of that border. Alright, let's have a look at what we've got so far then. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a broken up shape here, but I think this one, I'm now going to put in that border, but I'm only going to draw it up to, let's have a look, see that one's gone all the way across, let's take that one to there. This is the thing, isn't it, when you use a straight edge you've got to make sure you're not going over and under the little bits that you were going to use. There we go. Okay, so I've got some of them that are constrained within and some of them that are coming out. Alright. So now I've got that line, I'm just going to add a little bit more weight. I'm just going to do an extra line to it, so we know it's definitely in. There we are. Alright, let's have a look. Okay, so that's where we're at the minute. Alright, next bit then. I'm going to go a little bit larger, just as before. And let's just put in, let's go a bit larger, there we go. Just going to put in some little faux stitching down the edges. See, this is a really good one to do because anybody can do it. Doesn't matter whether they're straight or not, and it just gives it that little bit of texture, and it starts to bring some detail. So just work your way gradually from one side to the other. Now you can do them longer or shorter, depends on you know, if you want your hand stitching to be. You see this one here, because it sort of stops on this bit, I'm actually just going to extend it out, I think. There we are. Just so it looks like it's going somewhere. And of course, if you're going to put this onto a sketch pad, into your journal, it just means you can continue those lines if you want to. Alright? Okay. And the next one. Doesn't it seem ages now since it was Christmas Day? Sort of comes and goes in a bit of a fleeting. I think we were all looking forward to it so much that it just came and went in a blur. But that's okay. You know, all ready for the new year. And And you've got lots of, other things. You've got a few days left for 2020. There you go. Right, if I turn around. And now this time, you see, I'm just going to go this way. Just following it and going underneath when I need to. And then into here. See, it reinforces that idea that it's going over and under. I mean, you could put any pattern that you like in. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. You could, go in with a square pattern. You could add just bubbles. So whatever you want to do. Just giving it, looks like little belts now, doesn't it? Little stitch in there. Okay. And same here. I'll see right from the top there. There we go. And just bring it down into this longer section here. I'm just not worrying if they're all the same length. Some of them might be a little bit out. But you know what? If it's been hand stitched, it depends. It might be that way anyway. There we go. Oh, no, just go with it. And do you know what? If you've got to play it back, it's fine. But I've done a grid, but only part of a grid, and I've extended more lines in places than others. So let's just have a look at it. Oh, Diane, it's my super smooth tile card. It's about 280 GSM. There we are, look, see? So we've got a strip here. We started with these little diamond shapes, and then we've created lines coming across, following the angle of those diamonds. But you see, some of them I've taken all the way out of that border, and some of them I've left in. It's just that I wanted those 3 gaps there, basically, with a little one here. Because, of course, we're going to fill it in with little bits and pieces. So if you've not got that, don't panic. It's absolutely fine. As long as you've got, something to work with. It's just, say, a glorified grid, isn't it? A grid in disguise. There we are. Okay. So there we go. That's our starting point. Whew. Ready for the next bit? Here we go. So let's turn our tile this way, because I'm going to be working in these areas here. So let's go a little bit larger. Okay. Let's work on this one. So I want to keep this row because I'm going to do something different with that row in a little while. I'm going to work in this large area here. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to create a little half bubble there. Okay. Don't overdo the chocolate, you'll regret it. Just a little bit, just as much, just savour it. Alright, there we are, filled that one in. Leave a bit of a gap and another. You see, I'm going to leave a bit of a gap and do a row of those. Okay. And then let's just go ahead and fill those in. Now, of course, if you've got a thicker pen, I mean, I'm only working with an 02. If you've got something thicker, you could use that to fill in these sections. But I'm just going to go in with the pen I've got. And of course, being that you're filling them in, if you've got a little bit of an issue with one of them, and you can come back in and you can change the shape slightly. There we go. Alright, so I've got a nice row of bubbles. Go a little bit larger now so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to create a little bit of a bubble pattern around the edge, a little bit lacy. And the same with this one. Not too big, just keep it within the confines or the space. And just work your way around each one, nice and gentle. Julie, when I start to talk, my home slang does come back in. I'm originally a Stoke-on-Trent. So, yeah, I know where you're coming from. All right, so then let's do an aura around. Now, I'm not going to try and create that shape. I'm just going to put, you know, just sort of a flat curve around it. We'd end up with all sorts, wouldn't we? There we go. Just working my way down the row, nice and gentle. Now following those curves, there we go. All right. Oh, Linda, I know it's I think it's knowing how, isn't it? You know, how to sort of set up and do these things, and of course it takes time. And time's something that's a bit of a commodity. Okay, you can see what I've done here. I've added a little bump in between each one. So again, I'm just going to come in now and I'm going to fill in those little gaps. Just getting that corner in there and in there. There we go. I have moved some of the first tiles onto YouTube. I would love to get on and do the others. Actually, John said he'd do it for me. I've just got to show him how to. So I'm hoping to get a few more on. But of course, you know, there's another show coming up, so. Oh, goodness me, Bernadette. And A&E's the last place you want to go, really, but hang in there. All right, you see, I'm just doing these little bubbles, just sort of off ones, just around that top edge. There we are. And then again, I'm just going to do that little aura, little curve around them all, just to sort of enclose them. They are, Lindsay, yeah. I've got no intention of deleting any of them though, so they're there if you want them. Okay, so now I'm just going to add another aura around all of that section. See, just bringing that in so it just sort of finishes it off. And I want to keep a bit of a straight edge around that top, so there we go. Now you see here I've got a little bit of a corner here, so I could actually bring that in and just sort of make it look as though it's going around there. If you've got that, if you want to do that, that's fine, or you can completely treat it as something different. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so there's our first tangle. I'm going to do the same on this side, but you see it's a lot smaller. So I'm going to sort of get maybe two. Yeah, I'll get two in there. Okay. All right. And into here. And just filling that in. Of course, if you want to, you don't have to use a coloured tile. You can use just a regular plain white one or a cream one. And you can come in with coloured pens if you want to. You don't have to use the black pen. So there's a lot of ways of doing it, and I think if we can get a little bit of colour in, it just makes the day a little bit brighter. You see, I've just done that middle section in there, and in we go, and around. And then of course, just like the other one, I'm going to just aura around that edge. So let's have a look. There we are. That's where we're at so far. So you can see now that it's actually starting to sort of form a little bit of dimension, isn't it? We're getting there. All right. So I'm going to now work in this row here. So I'm going to go a little bit larger again. Let's have a look. You see, it's starting at a bit of an angle, isn't it? So I'm going to work this way first. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to put in a curve. I'm going to touch that side, bring it round and touch that side. Okay? And then if we continue it round, if I keep going, till I'm almost back around. And then from here, I'm going to pull back down and back into the base of that. Yes, a little bit. Okay. So then again, I'm now going to go the opposite way. So I'm going to follow this curve, bring it round so it's touching one side, all the way around. It's not quite going to sort of go, it's going to go inside there. So back around, create that almost back on itself, and then come back into nothing, following that curve. All right. And then again, you're not going to get much of this one, but let's just bring it in as though it's going to do a little bit of something there. Okay, so we've got that. So, bringing in now, let's have a little bit of a curve. And I'm going to add another one here. And then same on this one. When I say same, it's not going to be exactly the same. I might even take that one underneath there. They're just sort of random curves. We can add to them a little bit later if we want to. Let's add a couple in there. Okay. So I'm going to go a little bit larger now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little curve either side just to create that sort of leaf shape. And you see how the line's gone straight through? So I'm sort of coming back on that line. There we go. Then of course let's just bring a couple more in. This is where you can fill your space, and you can do a few, or you know, just a small amount if you want to. Let's just, I'm going to bring one in here, look. Alright. Now let's go to this one. Let's add in that curve again, and the same, and then one here. And I'll come back to that one in a minute. I'm just going to draw in the bits that I've got already. Let's have a look at that. Okay. So now it's a case that, you know, if you want to go and put a few more in, you can do so. So that's going to go behind. And don't think you've got to start at this bottom point. It's going to have to sort of, you know, can come from different bits and pieces there. There you are. Let's have one coming out here. So it's just about looking at whatever space you've got and just adding in some lines and curves wherever you think they need to be. So I'm going to put one in there. Okay, we've got that. So let's have a look at the whole thing. Alright, so let's just focus on this little bit here. I'll bring it up. And I'm just going to, let's have a look. I'm just going to bring one of those really small little curves in there. And back on itself. I might get another one in there, look. So, you know, different ways. And then again, a couple of little branches maybe, if you can fit it in. Because it depends on where your first lines went as to how you can put any of those in. Alright, there we are. So now if I come back around and I have a look at this space, where we started in this large area, I'm going to come on in with, let's start from here. There's that curve again, almost so it's going back in on itself. And then I'm going to bring it back down. And the nice thing with this one is we can actually bring one up and off the back of that one. And back down. And then I'm going to bring one here a little bit smaller, almost to itself. And back down. course, not forgetting that I've used this space. I want to incorporate it. And then I'm going to have one actually coming up and around and sort of behind that one and back down and back in and back down. Oh, Maureen, you can hear it. Yes, I'm back in the office today. Leslie's looking after me. I don't know where John is. He's out and about somewhere. He'll be back later. There we go. Back down. Alright. Oh, no, Sue, not cake. Not today. I'm saving that for my birthday. Okay, so this time I'm going to, again, bring in some of those lines. Now, I don't need to sort of think at the moment about, you know, adding leaves on or whatever. Just get some lines in. Just, you know, up and around. It's amazing, isn't it? You know, how much tea do we drink? Or coffee. I know quite a lot of us now are coffee drinkers. There we are. Okay, quite a few different curves in there. And now again, I'm going to come back and I'm going to add one of these little leaves to the end of it. Yeah, just going in and filling in wherever they may be. And just gradually working my way from one side to the next. Okay, so you can see now there's lots of scope for more. So let's put one in there. Just going to pull this one out into there. Let's have one here. See, they can come around and over. And around here. Okay. Oh, Julia, now you sometimes with life, you know, life goes on and you've got to do different things, haven't you? Come back to them when it suits. You know, I've got no plans on, you know, taking them off Facebook at the minute, so they're there for you to have a look at. All right, okay, there's plenty in there. So we've got a few bits. Coffee today. You sound like John. Although I must admit, when John drinks coffee, he doesn't drink coffee. He's like, I don't know, strongest you can get. Crazy. Okay. So you've got two options here now, and I'm going to give you the choice, really. You could go all the way up here with a curved line, and you could add lots and lots of leaves in there. Or you could actually bring in this pattern and add in the curves again. It's entirely up to you. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with that lovely curve, and I'm just going to try and hit both sides as I'm coming round. Now if you find this pattern a bit tricky, then it might be worth you persevering and giving it a go, because you're in a confined space, and as long as you take your time and do this in 2 steps as I am at the minute, it'll be worth having that little bit of a practice, because it's a fabulous tangle to do. So honestly, it is worth giving it a go. There we are. So you do it in the 2 steps, and then you're definitely going to get that point there, rather than trying to sort of do it all in one go. There's no rush. And then back down. Okay. So I'm going to come back in. I'm going to come back in. Let's have a look. Again, let's put some of these little lines in. Don't worry too much, you know, about how they're looking or where they're coming from. You just want to get some of those sort of curves in there. If we worry about where they're going to go, what you're going to do with them, it sort of defeats the object. You don't want to stress about it. and then come on in and add them leaves. Just keeping them on the ends. And then of course if you think you've got some space, you can come back and add later on. See, that one's quite there, a little bit too there. There we go. Okay. There we are. So let's have a look at that. I think that's possibly, I might put another one in there. Look. Is it possibly enough leaves? I know that can go, it looks like it's going underneath. All right. So actually that's not looking too bad at all. Very different, isn't it, in the green compared to if you were to do it on just a cream tile. I mean, just before we actually go in and put the shade in, I'm just going to show you the difference. There we are. So there's the cream tile that I did, and you can see here I actually just put the leaves up there. I've got quite a bit of space there. I decided to leave that one. Yeah, on this one it's a little bit smaller, so even me doing the two, they're going to be totally different. But you can see that you've got a similar version as you go. So let's carry on with this. I'm going to put this one to one side now, and I'm going to carry on with this one. And I'm going to bring in now my pencil and just have a quick sip of tea that Leslie's very kindly brought in for me. Maureen, I don't know, I can't remember the times. It's not a pick of the day. I've got 2 shows, but I don't think they're massively early, so that's a blessing. Okay, first thing then, let's pencil. Let's take some pencil and work our way. And I'm only going to do this lightly because, as we know, when you're working on one of the super smooth tiles, if you press on a little bit too much with your pencil, it's not going to blend as well as on one of the cream. Okay? And then here, I'm going to do the same this side, but of course, it's going to go underneath those bands that we did earlier. All right. So sticking within those, let's now come on and add a little bit in between those, all the way down. Now here I'm going to do the same, even though it's black, I'm still going to do it under there. Okay, same with this, underneath, just following through, the same as when I originally drew those lines, and follow down, and into those, and again down. You see, I'm not putting as much pressure on at all, it's just nice and gentle. So adding a little bit of pencil. Okay, same on this one now. I'm just going up and over. See, I'm even going over this one here, because we want that sense of 3 dimension. Because that's going over the top, so will the shadow. Okay. Same with this one. And of course, any of the others that we're working on. Alright, so that's where we're at so far. So before I put any more on, I'm going to come in with my tortillon, and I'm going to go back to where we started, and just ever so gently soften that edge. And you see I'm working in swirls, just very gently working my way down, no pressure at all. You just let the tortillon and the pencil do the work here. Okay, see there, I might just soften that edge a little bit more, just to sort of blend it almost to nothing there. And then same on this side. And of course this time you don't worry about going over that drawing there. Just gentle swirls, keeping it nice and easy with the pressure. Alright. So then if I work on these ones, now this time I'm just going to sort of go back and forth, because I don't want it to travel as far as the last one. So I'm just easing it out that way. Same with this one. Right, so it doesn't need as much because we didn't put as much graphite on there. Doesn't need that. Same with this one. We're just trying to soften the edge. We're not trying to move it too far if we can help it. And then into this one. And if I turn it round, and I'm going to do the same here. So even over the black, I'm still going to do it. You still get shadow there. Even if you can't see it as clearly, it's still there. So you're now getting this little bit of depth, where some things are standing out more than others, some things are behind, some in front. There we go. Right, let's have a look at that. Okay, now you, of course, if you think it's not strong enough, you can go back in and do it again, but I've got other plans just for now. Before we do that though, I'm going to sort of turn it round, and I'm just going to, there we go, add some pencil just on the outside of this aura that we drew earlier. And again, not being particularly neat and tidy, it's just getting some pencil on there. And then of course, I'm just going to come back in and swirl. Just want a little bit of depth there. Okay. Alright, let's have a look there. Okay. Hey, not bad, not bad. Okay, so now at this point I could come in with my white chalky pencil, but I'm not. I'm gonna bring in a little bit of colour. So on a green tile, you sort of think, okay, what would you do? I'm going to bring in a little bit of yellow. And it's quite a bright yellow. So it's quite sort of luminous kind of thing. And let's go in a little bit larger. And let's have a look down these sort of little bout shapes. And let's come on in and add a bit of that yellow straight down the centre of those little lines. And immediately, because it's working with the green tile, it's already starting to look a little bit green. But that's fine, because I don't want it to be seriously stand out. I want it just to have a little bit of a highlight. And I say, we could have used a white, but I didn't want it to be that sort of in your face this time. Okay. Show sometimes if you want to use colour, it's fine, but you don't have to use it to the nth degree. You see there, it's got a little bit of brightness to it now. I might come back and add a little bit of pen to that later. But okay, let's see what else we've got. Okay, a little bit of orange. It's sort of an orangey yellow. They are pencil crayons, Chris, yes, that I'm using. I'm just going to add a little bit of colour. You see, I've gone into swirls there. So I've just done the smirk and then just, see again, I've done that little smirk. And then I'm just sort of working my way around with colours. Okay. And then I'm going to stick to the same colours. Of course, if it mixes and merges in with the graphite, that's absolutely fine. Because I'm not after a seriously crisp, clean colour. I just want it to have a little bit of warmth, a little bit of a change. And again, same on these here. Start this side. Just add a little bit. Okay, just working my way around. So see, I'm not really blending, I'm just adding a touch of colour. Nothing crazy. We're just letting the drawing talk for itself, really. Let's have a look at that. Okay, that's what we're after. And then, of course, I'm just going to do just a little bit on those. Alright. So, of course, then we've got those lovely little leaves, haven't we? I'm going to go darker green with this. And again, because I'm using a green tile, it's quite subdued. There we go. But I'm just going to colour one side. Now, if you're a little bit small and you can't quite do that, don't worry, colour the whole lot, it's fine. But just if you can. So we're not really talking about shading and blending. It's just about applying a little bit of colour in places just to give it that effect. You see? Alright, let's do the same on these. And of course you could use your black pen if you wanted to, if you don't want to put colour in. Just to give that a little bit of something. It's nice, isn't it? I think to add colour. Oh, Joe, that's okay. Do it when you're ready. Well, sometimes, you know, just like I say, doing that little sketch just really makes a difference. And it just gives you a little bit more confidence, maybe. But, and everybody has their own ways. Of course, if you've got your sketch pads, I am bringing some more of them back with me, actually. So, if you didn't get one, I only bring them in small amounts. But there we go. So it's got a little hint of colour in there. All right, just coming back in with my pencil, and I'm just gonna add some around the border. Keeping it a light pressure. I'm not wanting to go too heavy with it. Just you know, nice and gentle. Just turning it as I go. Of course there, I'm just going to stop it at that point. Back in with the tortillon. And same with that one. And all the way across. You see, when you've got a straight edge like this, it's just about softening it up a little bit. Oh, they're normal shows, Chris. There are a couple of bits and pieces on there that I've brought before, but yeah, the main item's new. So new, in fact. It's only just been finished. Oh. Deb, yeah, I do like the Brunzil. I use those. I bring them to the shows a bit. Although I do normally sell the packs of 12, and they're ideal. But I do have a larger pack, so that's why I've been able to sort of use a few more colours today. Okay, I'm going to come back in with my pen. They do, Julie, don't they? Make a difference. I'm just going to now, just on the underside of these lines. Now, if you want to go back in and use your straight edge, please feel free. But, you know, I'm a little bit more of a free hand. So I'm just going to extend that in there. So just on that underside, I'm not doing both sides. Otherwise it's a little bit pointless. We're after dimension and depth. So I know, Chris, you know, and honestly I haven't done a sales show because I don't have, I say, how do I put this? I don't have product in stock, if that makes sense, because I don't buy it in. I mean, I buy the tile, the dies and stamps in, but everything else we make, and we make to order. So my shows are, you know, I build up my stock for my shows, and then once my shows are done, I just carry a very small amount of bits and pieces, and then it's obviously on to the next show. It's almost like a just-in-time manufacture process. So, you know, to do a sales show, you know, you look on my shelves, I'm like, I haven't got anything to put on a sales show. So like everything that will be on Friday will have been made specially for Friday. Okay, so you can see now how that's starting to really sort of come out and pop. And I think I do need to also extend that black line to this side. So again, if you want to use your straight edge, go ahead and use your straight edge. And I'm going to come back in and I'm going to add a little bit more pencil to those sides. So you see, this is how you can sort of build it up. So you don't have to just sort of stick with one layer, you can come in and do more. There we go. Let's have a look. Does it need a bit of white? Let's have a look at it. Diane, yeah, I will. I can do that. I think I just need to check on pencils and make sure I've got those. Okay. So bringing in my white pencil. Now this is my little chalk pencil, so we're almost done. And again, this is a case that sometimes it needs it, sometimes it doesn't. But I think I am going to come in and just add in a touch. So just, you know, where I've put this yellow pencil, I'm just going to go over the top with a little bit of white. It's not going to sort of stand out crazily because obviously the pencils are waxy. The chalk's going to resist a little bit, but I just want to bring it just a little bit to life there. Again, I'm not being particularly neat, it's just about adding a touch of it in there. There we go. And then I think I'm going to just add a little touch just in the top of each of those little curves there. The same down on this one, of course. Let's have a look at that. You see how that little sparkle just makes that difference. Just maybe just a little bit. I'm not going to do all of them, just a couple. And just a little bit. A couple of those, just maybe. Just a little bit. I'm not overdoing it at all, just a little bit. Okay, so in terms of tile 97, it just seems crazy, doesn't it? Tile 97. I'm just going to put my initials there. There we go. So all done, all signed, and I'm going to leave it there with that one. So whether you do it with a colour, whether you do it with coloured pencils, change your tiles, it's a case of you have a go, have a play with whatever it is you're up for doing. And my goodness me, oh Linda, yeah, it's a white chalk pencil. This is a traditional Sanntangle one, but if you've got a white pastel pencil, which hang on a second, I had in the Bronzeal pastels. You see that? Look, there we go. You've got a bit of a point there, so you could use those. It's whatever you want to use. It's just that with it being a chalky pastel pencil, it's going to sort of sit over the top a little bit better. So all being well, if you can make it tomorrow, we'll do number 98, and then of course day after 99, and then of course tile 100 for New Year's Eve. That would be lovely. I mean, if not, please don't worry about it. You can come back and have a look at it at any time and pick it back up again. But please have a go at this one. Try it with a few different things, and if you can, post it so we can see what you've been doing with it. Thank you ever so much. Finding other tiles. If you go on this page and you look for a little button that says videos, if you click on the video button and you can scroll down, and obviously tile number 1 is going to be right at the beginning, and you can just work your way through. So just pick and choose, see whatever you feel like doing. So, okay, enjoy the rest of your day. Off you go and have your cup of tea or coffee or whatever it is, your piece of cake. And all being well, as I say, I will join you back here at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Right, you take care, everybody. I'll see you soon. Bye.